All right, let's get our science on. So we are on page 113. We are looking at 5.6, the atmosphere, an ocean of air. One of the most important substances on Earth is the invisible blanket of air which completely surrounds us. Air is a mixture of colorless, odorless, tasteless gases. You cannot see, smell, taste, or pick up a piece of air, but air is there. You can feel air when it moves. You can see and hear some of the effects of moving air. So if the air is moving, you can see the leaves in the trees move, or trees kind of bend, or stuff kind of, float around. There is no place on the surface of the earth that is without air. The air surrounding the earth is called atmosphere. So you'll need to highlight that. The air surrounding the earth is called the atmosphere. No other planet has atmosphere which can support life the way Earth's atmosphere can. Not by mistake. People, plants, and animals depend on air in order to do what? If we can't breathe, we can't live. So we know, highlight that, people, plants, and animals depend on the air in order to live. There are only a few living things which do not need air. You can live for weeks without food or days without water, but you cannot live for more than a few minutes without air. The gases in air. Air is made up of several different gases. The atoms of these gases do not combine to form a molecule of air the same way, what we've been studying, water, right? The same way. The atoms of hydrogen and oxygen combine to form a molecule of water. Instead, they remain separate substances, okay? So where water, the hydrogen and the oxygen, when those two atoms get together, they form water, a molecule of water. And here you'll see the circle graph that they give you. It says 21% of air is oxygen. I like that. Okay. Then we'll see that 78% is nitrogen. And then 1% of the air is different things, but the majority would be carbon dioxide, right? Okay, so 21% of the air is oxygen. People and animals need oxygen to breathe and to create energy. Plants need oxygen in order to use the food that they have stored. Another gas is nitrogen. Nitrogen makes up the majority of the air at 78%. Nitrogen from the air also goes into the soil where the bacteria on the roots of certain kinds of plants turns into nitrates. Plants need nitrates in the soil so that they can produce food. Very small amounts of other gases make up the remaining 1%. Carbon dioxide, which is needed by the plants, is the one. Okay? Dust, water vapor, and ice particles are also found in the air, but scientists do not consider these things to be part of air. Besides the gases which we need in order to live, air also provides protection. I want you to highlight that. Besides, I am on the page 114, and I am 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in the 5th paragraph. It says, besides the gases which we need in order to live, also provide protection. Isn't that just like God? He's going to protect us, isn't he? He's going to take care of us. The atmosphere shields us from the sun's tremendous heat and from certain deadly rays that the sun would emit. The atmosphere also prevents the earth from becoming too cold at night. All air stores up heat during the day and releases this trapped heat slowly at night. This helps to keep the earth's temperature about the same at all times. It's like he's got a force field around us. That's exactly right. Layers of air. The air surrounding the earth, the atmosphere, goes up about 1,000 miles from the earth. Go ahead and highlight that. So we have this layer of air slash atmosphere going up 1,000 miles from the ground all the way up, about that much, okay? And then that's where our atmosphere will end. Earth's gravity holds the atmosphere in its place and keeps air from floating out into outer space. Because of the force of gravity, the air closest to the Earth is the densest, it's the thickest, right? This means that the molecules of air close to the Earth's surface are packed together more closely than the molecules of air that are high above the Earth. The higher up the atmosphere you go, the thinner the air becomes, because the molecules are spread further and further apart. In a part of God's wise plan that densest air is closest to the Earth, if you traveled up even 6 miles above sea level, you would suffocate in minutes, because the air up there is less dense. The molecules of oxygen are too far apart, and you would not be able to get enough of the oxygen to actually breathe. Air in other places. Although most of the air, Earth's air, sits in the atmosphere, some air is mixed in the Earth's soil. If you've ever tended a garden, you'll know that if there is not enough air in the soil, it becomes too packed and too close, and the plants will not grow properly. That's why earthworms are good little aerators. You ever heard someone where they air out their lawn? They have these little spikes they can put on their shoes and they can step on it, or that it's a little round wheel that has all these spikes and they're going through and they're just punching holes in their grass. That's to aerate it. All right. Air is also dissolved in water. Plants and animals which must live in water all the time are especially designed to take the air out of water. If you allow a glass of water to stand at room temperature overnight, you will be able to see little bubbles of air in the water the next morning. So little air bubbles in the water itself, not that it evaporated. Okay, so let's look at comprehension check 5.6. Oh, let's go over here. Concepts of why is the sky blue? Let's read that real quick. If air is made up of colorless gases, how is it that the sky looks blue? The sky appears to be blue because of the way light behaves when it passes through molecules of gases. Sunlight appears to us to be white, but in actuality, it is made up of waves of different colors of light. If you have ever seen a rainbow, then you have seen sunlight broken down into its different colors. Light travels through the atmosphere in waves. Each color of light travels in the wave of a different length. Blue and violet have the shortest wavelengths. The molecules of gas in the air bend the shorter wavelengths more than the longer wavelengths. Waves of the blue light are scattered throughout the air. The sky appears to be blue because we see waves of blue light in all the parts of the sky. It's hard to think, but we see the sunlight as white, blinding white light. And you're like, well, it's kind of yellow. Well, that's if you looked at it, it's like white light. But in that white light is the rainbow. And so you know how you do Roy G. Biv? Red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, violet, those two that are at the bottom, the blue and the violet, they're the shortest wavelength. So that is what we're perceiving as the sun is shining. We're perceiving that blue and violet color in that white light to make it blue. That's kind of cool, huh? All right, what is the layer of the air surrounding the Earth called? This is comprehension check 5.6. You will need to complete that. I may go through them and help you really quick. You're gonna have to write fast or pause me, okay? What is the layer of air surrounding the Earth called? Atmosphere. In which of the 3 states of matter does air exist naturally? As a gas. Number 3, which of the gases in the air is most plentiful? Meaning, I remember that circle chart? the circle chart or the circle graph shows that nitrogen is the most, or is most plentiful. Number 4, why is oxygen important for people, animals, and plants? Duh, we want to live, right? We need to breathe. If we don't breathe, we can't live. All right. We also, to breathe in and out, we create energy. All right. Number 5. Which gas do plants take in from the air? Do you remember? You better remember. Carbon dioxide. Number 6. What keeps the blanket of air around the earth? That force field, what keeps it at the earth? From the ground all the way up to 1,000 miles. Gravity. Very good. And number 7, besides the atmosphere, where would you find air? In the dirt or soil, and also in where? Water. Good. So you'll have to go back and you'll have to pause me and rewind me, okay? I want you to look at this experiment. So the air closest to the earth is more dense. So it would weigh more than the air that's up, that's said at least 6 miles out, right? So something to do, the weight of air. I want you to try this. I don't think you have to have a yardstick. You'll need to try it one way or the other, okay? So you need 2 balloons, a straight measuring stick. I think you would get a better result if you had a yardstick or something that was about as long as a yardstick, okay? I want you to take 2 balloons. You're going to blow into one balloon and tape it. Then you're going to put the balloon on the other side that's not blown up. And you'll see whether or not the air that you blew, like that weighs something. Well, if you put it in a balloon, you have 2 same exact balloons. Well, they're both in the air. Now let's put air in one of the balloons and then not in the other one and see if air actually has weight. Pretty cool. Take a video of it and show it to me and explain to me what you're doing and why things are happening. Happy science!